I was scratching my head, but I do have a question, so it's fine.
Thank you.
It's really to Tariq, there's a lot of plans about 5G and 6G, but what I'd like to know is what is the plans for Wi-Fi going forward for indoor networking? How does Wi-Fi fit into the big picture? Because we see a lot of, you say there's no mobile devices in your market for 6G, for 6 gigahertz, but we see a lot of differentials between the amount of products that are available for Wi-Fi in the market worldwide and the amount of products that are going to be there for 5G. And that, if you're putting all your eggs in one basket, 5G or 6G, then you're going to be limited in the actual number of products that are on the marketplace. So Wi-Fi must have to have something in that whole strategy of where it fits into the big picture. So that's the question, I suppose, for both of you as well, from an IT perspective as well. Where do you see Wi-Fi fitting into the big picture of, you know, future spectrum management, things like that?
Well, thank you for this question. Yes, as I mentioned in my speech, we said that we always monitoring the market and we'll see what the market need or required. And once we assigned the 500 megahertz, we looked at the market at that time and we saw that it required more frequencies. Matter of fact, we did it so before. If you see in our regulation, still there, and for Wi-Fi, we do have 60 gigahertz, 60, which is still not available in the market that much, but that time it was there. So as a regulator, we look to all type of radio services, but when we assign or allocate any frequencies, it depends on the market also. So we see what the market required. And when we have assigned the 500 megahertz, until now we are monitoring the market if required more frequencies or not, and for which application. The similar that we're doing for the 5G, and of course when it comes for the 6G. When we assign 6 gigahertz now to the mobile operators, and we are just keep following up with them to see how it's performing well or not. And then maybe I told to some people, after 2 years we will evaluate if it is required to be continue for mobile or not, or to see for other services. Till now, for 6 gigahertz, we have not take out those other the existing services, which is fixed and fixed services, fixed satellite services. Still, we have the user there in some areas, and once we will see the mature of 6 gigahertz for those services, if mobile or other, then we will decide. But we are keep monitoring for those new technology.
Thank you. Looks like Dean has a question here.
Yeah, okay.
Do I need a microphone?
Just
yeah, there is.
Please.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you very much. So the question to ITU, as I mentioned, as you all know, I mean, ITU as Secretariat, we are very neutral. We do not intervene in the discussions. However, the ITU is all the members, and the decisions are taken normally in WRC, where we have the member states taking the decisions. And you have one example, UAE, for example, and we have many others. And as also I said, I mean, from the ITU side, the decision of WRC 23 left the door open to countries or regions to decide whether they want to use IMT or Wi-Fi, Wasser Airlines, or both, according to the sharing, and it depends on geographical sharing or frequency sharing, or other studies are also ongoing. However, we are following the discussions that are ongoing. We are following how the countries or the regions, which directions they try to go. Honestly, personally, for me, until now, it's not very clear. We have both. We have indications that there are some countries going more for Wi-Fi and others for IMT. Others, they try to see if there are scenarios for sharing. But again, from ITU point of view, at the end, the most important is to provide affordable communications. Whatever the administration or the countries decide, what counts is to have affordable connectivity, so that we have people connected. Because without affordability, I don't see any possible connections. Thank you.
Maybe just to say, both technologies need each other. Wi-Fi needs the 5G, 4G connectivity to provide the blanket coverage. And actually, they probably need satellite as well on top of that for some of the more rural areas. But they need Wi-Fi for densification, really, because it's a lot more affordable.
Thanks. Quick question. Dean, I don't think this microphone's on. Dean Bubley, does the UAE, or actually also ITU, have specific rules about indoor wireless systems, and how much does that play into spectrum policy? You know, if you're assuming 80% of, say, smartphone usage is indoors, does that inform spectrum policy or even building construction policy?
Well, thank you very much for this question. Yes, we do have a regulation where we call it ultra-wideband regulations. Under that one, we have put it all type of different SRD or other services, and one of them also for WAS or RLAN. We put a regulation specification for some power limit. If it is exceeding that power, then it would be required to get a license or authorization from TDRA. If that below that specification, like 10, if I'm not wrong, 10 milliwatts or something like that, or 100 milliwatts or 100 milliwatts, then you should not take any authorization. But yes, we do have, because for example, right now 2.4. Right now 2.4 is most well known for the Wi-Fi using. But we do have other services using for that one, and that required to have a license or authorization. So we do have a regulation. If you go to our TDRA website and you see their ultra-wideband regulation, under that one, all type of SRD, Wi-Fi LAN, and see what specification required in order to use for Wi-Fi indoor.
Very briefly, from the ITU side, I mean, we don't have this specific kind of regulations, I mean, very close regulation. However, in the regulations, as I mentioned in my presentation also, in WRC 19, the decision, I mean, there were some conditions put on WAS or LAN, and that was more specifically to avoid the interference to radio astronomy services. But the details are closer conditions. They are normally done by regulators. And I remember in early 2000 when I actively participated in Morocco for the regulation of the 2, 4, and the beginning of 5. But it was for unlicensed use. Then we had to benchmark and to go into details for power, locations, etc., but not at the level of ITU. Thank you.
Working anymore? Mike?
Is the mic working? No.
It wasn't when I had it.
Oh, okay. I'll speak up. A related question for Tariq. I'm wondering, what is the like? How good is the indoor coverage, the indoor signal strength for 5G in Dubai, like inside your office towers and inside homes? And I'm wondering because most of the use cases that are being projected as making the investment in 6G worthwhile are almost inherently indoors, most of the big ones. And like in the U.S., in the United States at least, we have, I think, almost nearly 90% of mobile smartphone data traffic is over Wi-Fi, not over 5G. Because inside homes and inside office buildings, we only get like 2G, actual 2G service. You can maybe text or maybe call or maybe nothing, and that's, using below 4 gigahertz spectrum. Now we go to the upper 6, and you're going to be very uplink limited, maybe you don't have penetration. So I'm wondering, is there something different about Dubai that you're getting much better 5G inside?
Yes.
Or is it something else that's...
No. Thank you very much. For the 5G, yes, I don't recall the number right now, but it's using indoor, very excellent for the current spectrum that using the 3 gigahertz or 700, I think they are using, and others. Their signal in the 5G indoor is very good. We are using that one still now. If you are talking about 6 gigahertz, they are still in the trial mode. When we did a trial 2023 for 6 gigahertz, and to see the penetration to the inside the buildings from outside, yes, it was not that strong signal coming because of the buildings and others, but 40%, I do remember that time, 40% was very nice that time. Current utilization for the 5G indoor in the UAE is excellent. I'm using my 5G home at home. Sometimes I see the signal coming and we can use it better if I'm not using Wi-Fi. So because the spectrum using is not 6 gigahertz right now, they are using the existing spectrum. And maybe after this session, I'll try to bring the number, the penetration for using the indoor of 5G.
Monisha.
Sorry, but I would encourage discussions during the coffee break because we need to continue with the agenda. I'm very sorry.
Okay, very good. Well, thank you both. We very much appreciate your participation. Are we going to do a little rearrangement up here before Chris speaks?
Yeah, so thank you very much for Iliam and Tariq for your keynote presentations.